Hello, 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 YouTube! My name is rhianaB. Welcome back to my RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14 review series. Today we are trying to still get caught up with episode number 6. What an episode this was. A couple of upsets, some bitterness, and some interesting unconventional looks. So before we delve into this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to also hit the notification bell to be notified about future videos, and also give this video a thumbs up. Lets me know that you like it. Alright, we're getting right into it. So the first thing we notice is that Georgia is coming off of the last episode, really wants to do better. She feels like being on the bottom has really invigorated her to want to impress the judges and to do better. But also, we have a little bit of a new presence in the workroom, and that is Bitter Betty, or what a lot of people are kind of calling Diabetti right now, because she's basically become the Jan of this season, which is completely ironic that Jan was also on the season that Crystal Method was on, who is part of Dia's drag family, which I just think is really, really funny. But we'll see how much of this continues, and also if it will lead to the same outcome as Miss Jan in her season. But we will wait and see on that. Right away, going into the main challenge, it is an unconventional design challenge. Basically, it is based on over-shopping, over-hauling on Glamazon, which is like an equivalent of Amazon Prime. Basically, the queens have to use unconventional materials to make a dress. Very Project Runway, very old school drag race, like back in season 3 and in season 4 as well, making a dress or a concept out of basically shit. And even though we did lose Cornbread last episode, we, I think, have now found a new narrator, and that is Miss Carrie Colby. Carrie truly just has great analogies, and I think the best one so far is her analogy of being the stepchild at Christmas in the new family, and you think that you're gonna get the best presents, but you end up getting like socks and a Sonic toothbrush that has the receipt or the price match, whatever the fuck it's called, scratched off on the thing, so you can't give it a return. Like, that was like pure perfection. Like, and I don't come from like a stepchild family, but like, that's kind of relatable if you've ever had a Christmas at a relative's house and they just give you something, you're just like. But moving on from funny to a little bit sad, Willow is struggling to get her boxes open because of her hands and her medical condition. And now it doesn't seem like she has anybody to kind of give her a helping hand. Like, Cornbread was that person for her, so now she's kind of like just scrambling around trying to get scraps from people, which is kind of sad. I mean, and for God's sake, give the girl a box cutter. Why do you have to force the queens to, like, you know, physically open all of the boxes? It's like, people use scissors or use box cutters. It's like not a big deal to not, like, why is that not a thing in the workroom? Honestly, now that I think about it, it could possibly be for safety reasons, but still. Now, Dia has now become so fixated on winning a challenge, or at least being in the top, that when Willow decides to do like a baby doll style dress out of her material, Dia's like, no bitch, no bitch. If anyone's gonna have a copyright claim on the baby doll, it's going to be me. So basically Willow kind of just caved and is like, okay, I'll come up with something different. At the end of the day, I actually think that what Willow did in the runway was actually really good. So I think it was a good outcome for her, but I do kind of wish that Dia hadn't been so hardcore. Like, girl, we know you want to be in the top, and you want to show off that you are more than Crystal Method, but you could probably tone down a little bit of the hostility there. And being that this is yet again a design challenge, some of the girls are a little still struggling with the whole conception process when it comes to designing. We have Carrie Colby, who, as we've mentioned in the last design challenge, she's not a sewer, she's not someone who really puts together an outfit, but I'm like, girl, you do drag. You put stuff together all the time. It's kind of what you do. Maddie is also struggling a little bit. I think her problem is that I think she knows how to sell whatever she has, but actually coming up with a concept is a little, I don't know, it's like not quite there for Maddie, for me. And in Jury as well, when Carson and Rue were doing their walkthroughs, that they were really concerned about the fabric that she was using. It's very like stiff, not easy to work with, which is a big challenge. But Angeria, I think, is so like on a high from doing so well in the competition so far that she kind of, I think, accepts it and is like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make it work, and I'm gonna rock it on the runway. And a lot of Diabetti talk this episode, and it continues right here. When Dia went up to talk to Ru and Carson over what she was creating for the challenge, she did ask, what can I do to stand out more? Which, honestly, I'm shocked that more queens haven't done that, especially if they know that they've been on, like, the bottom half of the competition. Like, why not take advantage of having Ru or Carson, whoever is walking through, ask them for advice? Like, it's not against the rules or anything, so like why haven't more queens done this? And the obvious answer that they both give is that we want to see you be Dia and not be Crystal. Now, I've mentioned this before, since I know Dia, I know her drag style, I don't see the comparison between the two. However, when they did show those like cuts between both Crystal and Dia, they have had similar makeups in the past, but me, again, I'm biased, I know both of them pretty well, that their drag styles are really different. They can be similar in some aspects, but that's a lot of drag. There's a lot of queens that have similar aesthetics, similar makeup looks, and I know that because they are from the same drag family, things are bound to kind of go like this, but for me, I don't see it. And I think even Gigi Good in the pit stop had mentioned that as well, because Gigi has gotten to know Dia and the rest of the Get Dusted 4. But I can understand where people are coming from when they're saying that, yeah, Dia is giving a little bit too much Crystal method. Now, quickly into our mirror moments for this episode before we get into the runway. We have Carrie talking about her relationship with her father and how absolutely horrible it seemed for Carrie. Like, every time I hear stories like this, it makes me feel so grateful that I come from parents and from a family that is super supportive of my sexual orientation or my choices on how I represent myself. But a lot of people don't have that luxury. And Carrie, sadly, is one of them, and that her father just could not accept that her son, at the time, was wanting to be something that he didn't approve of. And this is a big struggle, I think, for a lot of people who have transgender kids. I don't know if they fully can comprehend or understand what that means to want to be a different gender or to be a different identity than what you yourself see for your child. Some parents, I think, take it in stride, but it's still, like, for most people, I think it's a very hard thing to concept or a hard thing to process. And kind of go with that with what Jasmine was saying about her relationship and how if it wasn't for her father's girlfriend, they probably wouldn't even have a relationship right now. Or if they did, it would be extremely, extremely strained. And that's the thing. People who can accept others, no matter how they identify themselves, as long as they realize that these are people that aren't hurting anybody, what the hell is the harm? What's so wrong about someone wanting to be transgender if they feel like that's who they truly are? Why should people be punished or be rejected for being gay or bi or whatever you identify as? You're not hurting anybody. So why? I don't know. It's a thing that I take for granted because I come from a family that did support me coming out, but I know for a lot of people that was not the case. So hearing these stories, and I know we hear them quite a bit in the history of Drag Race, but every time you hear it, it makes you just kind of take a step back and be like, oh yeah, we have some room to grow as far as acceptance of the LGBTQ+ community is concerned. All right, it is runway time. Let's check out the unconventional looks, shall we? First up is Lady Camden. This is great. This is really, really smart. I think she used whatever material she could find and utilized it to the best of its abilities. I mean, making a fringe dress out of kiddie pools is really, really creative. Not only that, but also the wings out of like that tulle fabric, like so smart, so well done. The only thing I will nitpick is that I kind of wish that the piping was a little bit thinner. I feel like it is a little bulky, but other than that, the colors are great, and, you know, she's kind of given a rep for the trans community, even though I don't think she herself is trans. But giving a shout out there, it looks really whimsical, really fun. I give this a toot. Next is Jasmine Kennedy. Okay, I think it needs to be a thing on Drag Race. Do not, or at least be careful when you're doing red and purple fabrics together, because the minute I saw this, I'm like, oh, hey, this is giving me flashbacks to Evie Oddly during the Harvest Challenge and to Nikki Doll in the Balls Challenge in their respective seasons. It's just so similar to both of those aesthetics, and also the things that she added on were too much. I feel like Jasmine is a young queen, loves drag, which tends to mean, hey, pile on as much shit onto my body as I possibly can. The hat, the earrings, the embellishments around the waist, the shoes being a super bright color. It's just, I don't know, it's a little too much, which is so weird to say because it looks very simplistic on paper, but it just is a lot, and she didn't need to do all of that. So I don't think I have really any other way to categorize this other than to say it's a boot. Next, Diabetti. This is adorable. This is super cute. And Dia doesn't normally do cute. I've mentioned this tons more. She does more the rock edge, and she does more sophisticated silhouettes, very classic, but she does like to have fun, and she can do fun. I will say that she probably should have listened to the judges and not done something that could be misconstrued as Crystal, and this could easily be misconstrued as Crystal Method. But I think she has her own little unique take on it. I think Dia did a very interesting makeup, and I think she made it her own. And I think it's really well constructed. It's a really cool idea. The colors are great. I have to give this a toot. I really, really like it. Maddie Morphosis. God bless your heart, girl. I can understand the kind of idea she was trying to go with, and I think she performed it as she always does, even with the little blow-up doll. But it's not good. It's not good. The pattern is really off. It just looks really half-assed. The hem does not hit the floor. Like, it's a weird length as well. It's just, I can understand what she was going for, and she did sell it, but it just does not look cohesively done. And I have to say it, I hate to do this, girl, but I gotta give you a boot. It's just not as good as what you have done in the past. Next is Willow Pill. This is amazing. This is so good. So good. She really utilized what she could work with, and she made it fun. The dress itself is adorable, which probably would have gotten some good praise from the judges, or at least would have been safe. But the arms and the little, like, tendril fingers made out of, like, quilt material, I think. Like, I got flashbacks to the long-armed tribe from One Piece. If anyone else sees it, you're welcome, because you'll never get that out of your head now, because she looks like she belongs to the long-armed tribe. It's so fun, so cute, so Willow. It's just truly, what else can you say? It's a toot. Next up, Bosco. I don't think this is bad, but it's not my favorite. I think she, again, utilized the material very well. To be able to make pants out of garbage bags or that kind of weird, like, tarpy material, it's not easy. Believe me, I've done it before. It's really complex, and I think she did a really cool concept and a really good job. The boobs are in a weird place. Those boobs are really throwing me off, and it distracts me quite a bit. But at the end of the day, I'll give it a toot because the concept is really good and it's well constructed. It's just kind of like a subjective thing if I really like it or not, so I'll give it a 2. Deja Sky is next. Pretty, but what else is there? I think the fact that Deja is a sewer, she can make her own pieces. This seems really safe for her, and I don't know why. I guess maybe she got in this idea of, oh, I want to be like a Greece goddess. I want to be flowy and elegant, goddess-like, but it just is so simple. It's so, I don't know. The dress is really cute. I don't know if she needed to accessorize it the way she did, and her face looks great. The hair looks great too, but I'll give it a gentle toot because it is well done and she looks good, but it's just so safe. And Jiria is next. This hands down, was probably my favorite look of the night. This is how you do simplicity and make it stand out. It's literally a little black dress with the over exaggerated shoulders made out of fans. Like, come on. It's so smart. It's so well executed. And she is just serving it like she's a badass from the 80s, giving you dynasty vibes. Love this look. So well done, so smart. I mean, it's Angeria being Angeria. I've gotta give it a toot. Now for the controversy of the episode, we've got Georges. This is cute. I'm not gonna say that this isn't adorable on her, but is it simplistic? Hell yeah, it is. But it's not simplistic to enough where it's like acceptable. It just is literally like you wrapped fabric around your body, made a quickie little bra, which isn't that difficult to do, and put a belt around it. It's like, it's not... I don't know. It's like, compared to this to Angeria, who had a very simplistic look as well, it's just... it doesn't hold up to me. It's adorable, and of course, being Georges, she rocks it on the runway. But it's just not giving me enough for me to be like, oh hey, this is a top look. And finally, we have Carrie Colby. How was this not a bottom look? This did not look good at all. I hate that combo of like that plastic blue with like the mop yarn-ish kind of fabric. It just, they don't go together. It looks like that mop material is just like plopped right onto her front, which is not flattering for her shape. It doesn't even add movement on a dress that I don't even think needed movement because the dress itself is very stiff. I don't know where she was going with this. I really don't. And she knows how to do her face. She knows how to style herself, which is a plus because it helped. But the other thing too that was bothering me was like throughout the episode, like when she was in Untucked, that dress kept falling down. All I wanted her to do was just like pick up that dress because it looked like her boobs were about to show on camera. And I was waiting for a blur to happen because it was getting very, very close. But I just did not like this look at all. It was just not a good night for Carrie as far as that's concerned. Got to give this a boot.
Okay, so for our tops and bottoms, we have Lady Camden, Angeria, and Georges. Bottoms, Jasmine, Maddie, and Deja. Again, I would have liked to see Daya be on top because I think she did a really great cohesive look. But at the end of the day, the tops, probably with the exception of Georges, I understand. For me, the winner was by far Angeria. Angeria had the best overall look. It was simplistic, but it was elevated enough for it to be draggy and for it to be stand out. I think she should have won, but I also agree that Lady Camden did an amazing look out of what she had as well. But unfortunately, the winner was Georges. And I don't want to say that as like, I don't think that it was a bad look. It was not a bad look. I just don't think it was a winning look. And I feel like that's what a lot of people were saying. And I think it's the idea of Georges is so cute and so talented that she can get away with anything, which is going to rub a lot of queens and viewers the wrong way, because it's the whole idea of resting on pretty. So I don't agree with Georges winning the challenge. I think it should have been Angeria or at least Lady Camden, but it is what it is. We'll accept it and we will move on. Now to the lip sync, which the lead up to the lip sync in Untucked, holy shit. And I don't normally talk about Untucked because it's more to an episode and sometimes it's lackadaisical, sometimes it's not necessary. But this episode, no, this Untucked, this was the one. Like, the fight between Jasmine and Maddie, holy crap. It seemingly kind of just came out of nowhere because they're both in the same position. They're both gonna lip sync for their lives because they were obviously the very bottom of the bottoms tonight. And it's just so weird to see them both fighting over very similar things. And I think both of their points were valid. I think Maddie was a little bit more valid personally, as far as like, why are you complaining to me about all this? You're in the bottom too. Like, we're both in the bottom. Da 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 da. But I do think that Jasmine did have more of the bragging rights when it came to the performance, because she is a performer, she is a dancer, so more than likely she would, probably slay Maddie in the lip sync, which is, as we saw, exactly what happened. Maddie, bless her heart, she can be a good performer, but this was not a good song for her. I think this was the perfect song for Jasmine to really play it up and to be sexy, to be cool. Was it a little like over the top? Probably, but it was more memorable and more standout compared to Maddie, which I kind of felt like the minute she heard the beat, she's like, oh shit, I'm going up against a dancer with this song? So, yeah, sad to say, but our other Midwest queen, Miss Maddie Morphosis, was asked to sashay away. She did not have the golden chocolate bar, and she is the next queen to go. I am sad to see Maddie go. I did really enjoy Maddie. I think that Maddie is a lot smarter than some people gave her credit for in the very beginning. She is an extremely creative and talented human being. And I think what, Maddie's brought to Drag Race, being a cisgendered, straight man, I think that opens a lot of doors. The thing is, if you're gonna come into the world of drag, you always need to respect the people that brought drag to where it is. And those people are usually LGBTQ+, and also they can be persons of color. What they did to bring the world of drag to the forefront and make it as amazing as it is today, it's because of them. So never, ever, ever underestimate, nor do you ever disrespect the people that brought this amazing, creative, fun world to our lives. It means so much to this community that you need to just be very careful with how you come into the industry. And that's all I'm going to say about that. You're born naked and the rest is drag, but always respect the drag community for what it is, because it is an amazing place and it should never, ever, ever be attacked or made fun of in a very malice manner. So that is it for this episode. We are probably going to be seeing some major fireworks coming into the next few episodes. Obviously, Daya is not going to be happy that she was safe again. Probably some animosity about Georges winning. And Jasmine now has probably going to have a lot more fire under her ass to do better. So next episode, it's going to be a bit of a ride. And also, thank you all again so much for being patient with my upload schedule. I am still trying to work on getting my RuPaul Drag Race reviews back on a normal schedule. Plus, I do have other videos that I want to do. So please bear with me. I'm trying my best to get caught up. Thank you all so much for being so patient with me. But on that note, until the next video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What did you think of the episode? What was your favorite runway look? Do you agree with Georges winning? And do you agree with Maddie being sent home? Or what did you think of Maddie overall? Anything you want to discuss about Drag Race, I would love to read your comments down below. And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you all today, and until the next video, bye! Mwah!